All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Fairfax chapter. We're so glad that you can join us this morning. I can't believe today's the last day of March and tomorrow is April 1st. Spring, yes, spring is indeed here. Please take a moment to check in to our app. If you don't have an app, please take a moment to download. This will help us to know that you're here and allow our community to grow. And also use a chat function on the Zoom to feel free to introduce yourself. That way that we all know that, that we can interact beyond this meeting this morning. Next slide. All right, so 1 Million Cups, it's all about entrepreneurship, community and education. And I'm sure you all are excited about these three things, and we're so happy that you can join us this morning. Next slide. The 1 Million Cups of our mission is pretty simple. It is to come together as entrepreneurs and business owners to help each other and overcome these challenges that we have, and to become unstuck in our challenges. Next slide. The way we run our meeting is very different than some of the other meetings that you may have been to. We focus on presentation, and it's not a pitch to sell or offer services. We focus on authentic connections and not networking. And we're run by the volunteers in the community and for the community. Next slide. Our goal is to create created a safe and supportive environment where everyone feels welcomed and ideas are exchanged. And we're all made up of volunteer group, and we need everyone's support. And so whether you're an organizer or a presenter or an attendee, we look forward to everyone's support. Next slide. All right, at 1 Million Cups Fairfax chapter, we're one of 160 chapters all across the country that meet every Wednesday mornings. And it's a weekly event that brings together entrepreneurs and talk about solving problems over a cup of coffee. Our goal is to create a safe and supportive environment. Everyone feels welcomed, and that everyone has ability to share each other. As a community, we look forward to all of your support, and the way you can do that is by attending the weekly meeting every week, and which all of you are doing right now this morning, and I thank you. Second is to participate in the conversation and provide feedback during the presentation segment later in the meeting. And third is to engage us online and share our content on your social media, and that will help us to get the word out. And finally, invite your friends and colleagues to help grow the community. Next slide. All right, as I mentioned before, we are all volunteer-led group, and these beautiful faces you see in front of you are the organizers that make things happen behind the scenes. So if you can show your support by giving them virtual applause, that would be fantastic. Thank you. And by the way, I would like to mention one thing, that if you would like to become a part of an organizing committee or organizer, please help us. Feel free to reach out to any one of us. Next slide. Okay, so at this time, I'd like to recognize our sponsors. Normally, when we meet in person, we have two sponsors. One is a space sponsor, and then a monthly coffee sponsor. And even though we're meeting virtually, we still like to recognize our sponsors. So the first is our space sponsor, which is Office Evolution. Sylvia, would you like to say a few words about Office Evolution?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sylvia Ferguson. And yes, here at Office Evolution, we provide affordable, beautiful office space and virtual plans such as a professional business address. So if you're looking for space or just reach out to me. I put my information in the chat. But thank you so much for joining.
All right, thank you, Sylvia. Next is our coffee sponsor for the month of March, Renetta. Would you like to say a few words about your company?
Good morning. I am Renetta Jones of Extraordinary Solutions. We offer our help to women of the military community that are seeking clarity and focus and direction in their business in order for them to leave an impactful legacy.
All right, thanks, Renetta. If anyone would like to become a sponsor, coffee sponsor, we are taking inquiries. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. All right, so now we're moving into a fun part of our meeting, which is the presentation. Before we have our presenter speak, let me just go through some of the rules, the way we are running our virtual meetings. First, let me ask everyone to please keep your microphone on mute during the presentation. And after the presentation, you will have the opportunity to provide your feedback and ask questions. And our moderator for today is John Rudenberg. He will help facilitate the discussion. Next slide. So today we have a fantastic company called Southern Sweet and Sassy Coffee Company. And the presenter is Melissa Green. And they are a veteran-owned business as well, and so we look forward to hearing from Melissa about the company. And with that, let me have Melissa to go ahead and take over. Melissa.
Thank you, John. My name is Melissa Green. I am the owner and founder of Southern Sweet and Sassy. I am excited for this opportunity to present my company this week, and I look forward to any questions and any advice that the panel is able to provide. Let's see here. So the challenge question that I want to present to you guys today is, in a general sense, how as a coffee supplier do you think I should approach business owners about supplying their business? Let's say if I'm not aware of or have a personal relationship with said owner, how do you think I should go about it? Next slide, please. Okay. And again, my company is Southern Sweet and Sassy, and I am a Navy veteran as well as a military spouse, and my husband happens to be a United States Navy retiree. He did his 20 years in. We both were the same rate, and that's how we met each other in the military. And we've been together for 17 years. Well, married. We've been together a lot longer than that, but we've been married for 17 years. We do have 4 kids, and Southern Sweet and Sassy happens to be something that I'm excited about this entire journey. Okay, next slide, please. And again, my name is Melissa. I am originally from California. My husband is from South Carolina. So Southern and Southern Sweet and Sassy actually came from me being a transplant from the West Coast, from South California to South Carolina. So therefore, I'm now a Southerner. And Sweet and Sassy, wow. I am a Puerto Rican Gemini, so that in itself says enough. So that's where Sweet and Sassy came from. Go ahead, next slide, please. Okay, so the problem that my company would like to solve is, as a military spouse, I have traveled and PCS'd from base to base. When a military spouse or even a military family, which encompasses, a married couple with or without kids, they move to a new location, they really don't know anybody. 9 times out of 10, they are the newbies and they are trying to immerse themselves into the new community. It can be very hard, especially when there are, spouses there that have known each other for quite some time. When there's kids involved, that's even harder because the kids are uprooting their lives and moving to a new location. There could be kids, there could not be kids, maybe their age, maybe not their age. So this, this creates a little bit of a problem. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the solution that I'm wanting to solve is creating the opportunity for those connections. And one thing that I absolutely love is think about it. When you are meeting somebody, maybe for the first time, or even having a conversation, what tends to be the focal aspect of your conversations? Your conversations are over 9 times out of 10, a cup of coffee. I mean, there's tea, there's soda, there's water, but ultimately as adults, our go-to drink of choice happens to be coffee. So with this being said, as a military spouse moving to a new location, I would invite new spouses over, or, see if I can connect with them and, have conversation and get to know them over a cup of coffee, have them, introduce me to the spouses that they know. And ultimately this is about inclusion. It's about inclusion into this community. The advantages are the fact that I am a veteran-owned military spouse. So as a veteran, there are certain skill sets, that we have, that we learn from, when we're in the military. We are very driven. We are very hardcore. Although I have a soft side. So just to let you know. But I do also have, access to potential government contracts. It's going to take a bit, because I just started and I'm like a little upset about that, but I will get there. But, I do have the ability to get that women-owned certification, that minority-owned certification, being Puerto Rican. I'm able to get that veteran-owned certification. I can also get the, the disability-owned certification because I do have a service-connected disability. So I have all these advantages to me with my company. Next slide, please. So I am on social media. I do have an Instagram page. I do have a Facebook page. Obviously my followers count has gone up since I turned this in last week. And that is definitely a good thing. My target market right now is the military spouses and the moms, because, well, we need the coffee. I'm sorry. I have about maybe 2 cups of coffee at least per day, per morning, just to even think about getting through, what I have scheduled for the day. I feel like I don't have any time. So this is kind of like my go-to energy boost. I always like to say that I am the caffeine addiction supplier. That's me. Yes. And then of course, the region would be in the United States. I do have free shipping within the United States, and that's ultimately the area that I would supply. Next slide, please. So this is a big one. There is a lot of really good coffee companies here in the United States. Obviously, I'm on a smaller scale, so I am not partnered or aligned with Starbucks or Pete's or Seattle's Best. Maybe one day I would love to be that, up to that level. But in my area, we do have, the Charleston Coast Coffee Roasters and the Coastal Coffee Roasters. So those right now are my, I guess what you can say, competitors in a way. Next slide, please. And of course, I am all about quotes. So on my Instagram page, you would see quotes. I call them coffee-isms. But this is true. It's amazing how the world begins to change through the eyes of a cup of coffee. It does. I'm sorry. My world gets better and more clear after I have at least 2 cups of coffee. Next slide, please. All right, so we are back to this question. This is my challenge question. So I'm not sure where I go to from here, but I'd like to open up the floor and see if anybody has any advice.
All right, great. Thanks, Melinda, for this fantastic presentation. So I will be moderating the Q&A section of our meeting. So everyone, if you have a suggestion or question to help Melissa address this challenge question. So in a general sense, how should I approach business owners about supplying to their business? So what you can do is either chat in your questions and I will look through those, but also virtually you can raise your hand and I will call on you. And when I do that, please state your name and just what you do, and then state your questions or suggestions. So I'll start with Jen, and then after that, I'll go to Jennifer. Thank you.
Great job, Melissa. I had a couple of questions and thoughts. One is Military Spouse Appreciation Day is coming up on May 8th. Are you looking at reaching out to sort of coffee shops in the area who might be interested in at least featuring your coffee for that day as a pop-up? So that's one suggestion. And then I guess the other question I would have, as you were talking about coffee and sitting down over a cup of coffee, I know you can order coffee from your site. Have you thought about making an experience where someone can send a bag to someone and invite them for coffee almost as a gift? So those are my two thoughts.
Thank you, Jen. Those are amazing suggestions. Thank you. I actually haven't thought about the first one at all whatsoever. And I do know some coffee places in my area that I'm really excited now to talk to. And the second one, I thought about doing the businesses and maybe like a morale booster. So that would be even better. I like that. Thanks.
Right. So next is Jennifer. And then I will hand over to Mayosha to continue the moderation, moderate the Q&A. So Jennifer, why don't you go ahead?
Good morning, Melissa. Great presentation, and I could not agree with you more. I cannot function without at least 3 cups of coffee in the morning. So I run a small chamber of commerce in the city of Fairfax. So my first question to you is, have you connected with your local chamber of commerce? If you haven't, you need to. Many chambers, including mine, although mine is still new, have a veterans committee. So there could be other veteran entrepreneurs that you could work with and talk to. I love Jen's idea of approaching the coffee shops and promoting the Military Spouse Day, but also look at the bakeries as well to see if perhaps they would feature your coffee. There's just so many resources out there for you, and it can be overwhelming, and I get that. But coffee is a major drug, so samples are also a great way to go when you're approaching some of those business owners. Give them a little sample of your coffee, get them hooked, and see where that takes you.
Awesome. Thank you. Next, Melinda Siegel, and then Tamika Smith afterwards.
Great
Melinda?
presentation, Melissa. I guess I'm the Melinda in the room. Our names get confused a lot, or my name gets confused with Melissa. My quick thought was the food service industry would be a ticket in for you to get to restaurants, local coffee shops, hotels. And again, as a women-owned military and all the other things that you're talking about, I would bet that a lot of the food service salespeople would be really interested in having a brand like yours because you differentiate yourself a lot. And you could start running promotions with them as they bring on your coffee. So maybe it's buy 1 coffee, get 1 coffee free, or all sorts of other types of things. Or that you can come up with, or something that goes back to the food service place that they might get a discount on something that you can work out with them, but a way that you can get the sampling and the trial, and maybe even get trial as they bring on your new brand. If you need help finding food service, let me know. But it's a really good distribution way for what you're trying to do and trying to hit the restaurants and the coffee shops. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melinda.
Thank you.
Next we have Tamika.
Well, good
Tamika
morning,
Smith.
everyone. Great presentation, Melissa, fellow spouse, fellow veteran here myself as well. I was going to ask, have you approached the BX or the commissary? Because that might be a great option for you as a member of the military community. So check them out.
Hi, Tamika. Thank you. No, I have not approached them just yet. If you know how to, or maybe some advice, I'd love to know, because I would love to be a part of DECA and AFES and things like that.
Yeah, actually, one of my friends, she actually has a jury for sale in BX and PX is across the country. So I can see if I can match you guys up and you can talk with her.
That would be great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you. Jen, did you have something to add here? Jen Dalton, I saw a lot of things.
I'm just capturing notes. The one thought I would call out, there's a dog tag bakery in DC who has a veterans fellowship program. And I can introduce you to them after the meeting as well.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Renata, did you have something to add? I saw that.
Yes, good morning. Great presentation, Melissa. You did answer my question about whether or not you were familiar with the Rosie Network Services CEO, but also Donnell L. Johns, and Manifa and myself are all part of Veterans Grow America, and we're actually partnered with AFES to do pop-up vending in events, and we have one on May 1st or here at Fort Belvoir, so we should connect and get you that information as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tamika, I think it's a great idea. Have you connected with colleges, or like they have these coffee shops close by and inside colleges?
No, actually, I haven't thought about that. Colleges, to be honest, wasn't even in my brain. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, they love their coffee. They like to stay up, and if you have a new idea, it's a great place to start off and get it moving.
So Mahesh, I think Tom Shipe has a question for Melissa. Or
Yes.
thought.
Yeah, I'm about to ask Tom. Yeah, Tom Shipe.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, great presentation
Foster.
for being on our event today. During your talk, you talked mostly about consumer, direct to consumers. Your slides have all said business. What are you focused on?
I'm actually focused on both. Right now I'm B2C, but I'd love to get into the B2B aspect.
Do you have, okay, so there's been a lot of ideas on here that take you back 2 or 3 distribution points. Do you have the discount margin in order to be able to handle that? I mean, is your pricing, could it be built in for, a margin for the retail coffee shop, then the supplier to the coffee shop, and maybe even one more back from that? Do you have that kind of margins? You have to think about that, I think.
Yes, I definitely have to think about it. I do have a financial advisor I'm going to get with this week and to go over some of that aspect. I started in January, so off the top of my head, it maybe not all of them at once, but take one and then build off of that.
It's a long process. So I'm a pretty straightforward kind of guy. You know, if you want to call on coffee shops and get them to sell your product, go knock on the door and say, who buys coffee? Same thing with the commissary. Walk right into the commissary and ask who buys whatever. Who's responsible for buying coffee? Don't be bashful. Just straightforward, knock on the door and keep going until they tell you no, and then go back again. That's all for me. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Next we have John Foster, then Shannon Miller and Reggie. John.
Good morning, Melissa. So I know I was looking at your social media stuff. I didn't see LinkedIn. So I was curious if you're doing anything on LinkedIn, because going back to Tom's point, you know, is it business to business or, you know, direct to consumer? And I understand you said both, but LinkedIn, you know, can absolutely tie the two together. So I was curious if you were doing anything on LinkedIn.
Hi, John. So I do have a LinkedIn professional page, as well as a company page for Southern Sweet and Sassy. The company page I recently just started, so I don't have a whole lot going on the company page, but I do have a really good amount of followership for my profile just because of my current day-to-day job.
Gotcha. Yeah, but just from you know, marrying those two up, you know, LinkedIn has grown so much because of the culture we're in now. It's I've been finding it a good place to spend a little bit of time.
Thanks, John. Shannon Miller, next.
Hi, Melissa. Great presentation, to echo what everyone else said. And congratulations on the launch. That's so exciting. Actually, Tom pretty much asked the question that that was kind of in my head too, in this B2B, B2C, where you sort of were on there. Going through your website and stuff, it felt very more intimate outdoors, you know, with your friends, less so than in a coffee shop or in a public setting or in an office building, you know, where you're sort of working and having that coffee. When that happens again, I guess is, you know, what you're sort of going for. And so one of the things that sort of came to my mind as, you know, a military family as well, my sister is military wife and they've moved, you know, they have the big signs on the wall with all the places they've been, and they're in North Carolina now. And they are always on a list whenever they hit a new location. If they buy a house or if they move in, the post office sort of keeps track of those things. I don't know if the military themselves do and would give you access to those lists, but care packages that way. To someone else said the sample, if there, you know, if there's a community organization there to welcome families and spouses, maybe sort of getting into that around bases would be a good way to sort of get people hooked, to the point that someone else made this morning. So that was my thought, maybe, if you're not already doing that.
Thank you. Reggie, we have a lot of questions coming through now.
Yes, great job, Melissa. My question and comment was sort of, you know, so I'm a non-coffee drinker. You know, I'm married to one. I know lots of them, but so for me, I mean, my question is sort of what makes your coffee different? And there were some other questions kind of alluding to that, but you know, what is the thing that makes your coffee product stand out? And I'll just share from my perspective. Like, I think when I heard you talk, it was, you know, so there's like business to consumer, but I feel like you have business to community. And so the differentiator, if it's not anything related to the actual product, is more about the community that you can bring along with the product, you know, which is the sort of greater military community. So I would think about how you can really build that community, because if that community is there, then the product is like, it will kind of sell itself, you know, because people want to be connected to that community, and you have some advantages being part of the community. So I would think about how to, yes, you want to sell the coffee, but the reality is, as you already mentioned, there's a lot of places and people you can get, you know, coffee from. But what really allows you to sort of be positioned differently is this community that you have behind you and with you. So I would try to sell coffee, but also like build that community. So when people think about your product, like they're trying to buy into the community and as much as they're just trying to get the coffee. So I hope that makes sense.
It does. Thank you.
Thank you. Melinda, did you want to add a few things?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, besides that you're military and you're woman owned and all these other things, how do you differentiate your coffee from, let's say, a Starbucks or somebody else's? What is the taste difference, if there is one? I'm just looking for that other piece of your brand, which would make you hit a grand slam, because then you have the opportunity to be unique and offer some other attributes for organizations to look at, because not everybody is going to try, let's say, a military brand or whatever it might be. But if you've got some taste things or other things, or even maybe going back to the days of the Pepsi and Coke test, do some taste testing or something to get some feedback in a positive sense and make them into online videos and things like that. If you start doing taste tests in other, in coffee locations.
Okay, Melinda.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, Melissa.
No, I was going to say thank you. Thank you for that.
Phyllis, did you want to add something, Phyllis?
I really like Shannon Miller's idea of having a gift basket. And my suggestion is you can partner with other veteran or military spouse owned businesses and brands to offer the go-to gift basket for military families who are relocating. So, to kind of also tie into Jen Dalton's idea of gifting your product, you can partner with different companies to gift, like welcome basket with cookies and whatever other things, so that because so many families who are relocating, this can be a great opportunity to show that you care. Not you personally, but anyone can show that they care by purchasing this for the family.
Thank you, Phyllis. John Foster, I still see your hand up.
Oh, sorry.
It's time.
My fault. Sorry about that. I'll take it down.
Okay. Jen, I saw a lot of wonderful comments. Did you want to highlight a few of them? Jen Dalton.
This is John Norse. I'd like to add something, if I may.
Sure, John.
Hey, Melissa, being in the military, I don't know if you've ever read the book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu, but a good read for those that are business nerds like me. But he talks about flanking strategies. So obviously you don't have the resources to take on a Starbucks or a Pete's, but these ideas everybody's giving you are flanking strategies. And one thing that may work for you is thinking outside the box, and that is be part of like school fundraisers. Be the product that you can sell to the school at $5. They sell it for $20. Obviously, they keep the profits but you can get your product in your local community. They can taste your product. Obviously, you're part of the community there and creating that win-win by supporting the schools or even other groups. It could be, youth groups outside of the school system and such. But that's a great way to kind of start building your brand slowly, get in the community. Obviously, goodwill you're building for what you're doing. But thinking outside the box, I know many of us here are bootstrapping entrepreneurs, so we always have to find creative ways to get our products or services to market. So keep trying to find unique kind of niches that you might not see or other competitors might not see as opportunities, and you would.
Thank you, John. Yes, thank you. Melinda, did you want to add a few more questions?
I love the idea that John just had, is using it as a fundraiser, and especially around holidays and other times of the year There's no better way of waking up with coffee, going back to a lot of what other brands have said, but you can say uniquely, and then having the feel good feeling about it. Just quick question. Are you tied to any nonprofits? Do you want to take any of your coffee sales and put them towards a nonprofit that would also make your brand stand out?
So right now, and I'd love to take on more. Right now, I am tied to Inspired Up Foundation, and they provide these boxes to the local military and emergency personnel monthly. And in the boxes is kind of like a collaboration of all these different veteran-owned business products, in sometimes in sample form, others, you know, in full form, that they do provide. So this month, for the month of April, I have been lucky enough to be a part of that. But yes, I would love to, you know, position myself with other foundations as well.
That will help you in saying that maybe each month you pick a different foundation or whatever it might be, and give you another way to get in front of a lot of the folks that you know, saying this month we are supporting XYZ, and get you additional sales.
Yes, that's a really good idea. Thank you.
You can sticker your coffee as you ship it too, with whatever brand you're working with, which will also give it life as it goes places. And that doesn't cost a lot.
Thank you, Melinda. Jennifer Rose.
Yeah, I had put in the chat, I had put in the chat earlier, connecting with some nonprofits that serve veterans and military families. Doing a little cause marketing with that nonprofit is a great way to raise awareness of your product to a community that already is in love with the veteran and military community and would be willing to go out and purchase your product. I also just threw in the chat. I looked up the Charleston Chamber of Commerce. They are very impressive. You should definitely look into them. They have an event that is designed for their major sponsors. That is a coffee with the chamber president event. And if you could get on the radar of some of those business leaders, that would be awesome for you too. So if you could figure out a way that you'd have the chamber serve your coffee to those folks, it would be win-win for you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I will now pass it over. Does anybody else have any questions before I pass it over to Donnell Johns?
Actually, I'm speaking for Danelle if nobody else does. Danelle is on vacation right now. And our last question we want to ask you, Melissa, is how can 1 Million Cups help you in addition to obviously today's meeting? What can we do to make things great for you?
To be honest, I haven't thought about that. So off the top of my head, I mean, getting the word out about my, about my coffee, about my story, being military spouse and veteran, and just how, in the words of one of the others, and I'm sorry if I can't really name, I think it was Reggie, about, being more community based, which I think that's actually really amazing. Business to community instead of business to consumerism. That's a really good, thought. So just, getting our values, our mission out there about wanting to build these communities, and connecting, just anybody really. I mean, my thought is, spouse to spouse, but it can work for anybody, anybody that's moving or anybody that's new or anybody that wants to connect. Just putting that information out there would be super helpful.
Thank you very much. Great presentation.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Thanks, Melissa, for the presentation and sharing your story with us. I hope today's meeting was productive to everyone. time to time, we have a treat. We have a treat today, this week, where we ask a past presenter to come and share an update of their company. And today we have Monifa Keynes from Queen of Spades Style, who she presented to us about a few months ago, and we've asked Monifa to come and share an update. So Monifa, could you please share with us the update of your business, please? Monifa, are you on mute?
I was on mute. Thank you. I was just testing you. So, yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Monifa, and I just wanted to say to Melissa, that was a great presentation, and I'm excited for your future. And I see that you have a great personality, so you definitely need to get out there and talk to people with that personality that you have. So again, my company is Queen of Spades Style, and I did present at 1 Million Cups last year, a little bit right after COVID really hit. And it was about how does every company pivot, and how do I pivot? I was a new company. I launched last year and COVID hit. So during the time that COVID hit, I didn't know what to do because everything basically just shut down. And when things that I would do, like go pick out my own fabrics and go talk to suppliers, I couldn't do anymore. So I had to find another way to bring my company together. But during that time, I found myself taking classes. I took, of course, a class with dog tag before. I took a class with Project Opportunity. And I also took a service to CEO class with the Rosie's Network. What I was doing was continuing to learn to get ready, because COVID was going to end, and where was I going to be when it ended? And I know we're still in it, but I was going to get ready, didn't know what I was getting ready for. So I had to do other things, and I reached overseas, and I'm creating women's circles that are authentically making my products, such as head wraps and headbands and hats and silk lined bonnets and other things and purses. And I've started doing pop-ups, started really advertising. I even took an advertising course. And I just seen that the reaction from everything I was learning from the courses I took and the advertising course I took were improving my sales and people reaching out to me. Well, thankfully, let's see, some days ago, someone that's connected with Macy's contacted me and said she has been watching me online, and she's practically been stalking me, which made me feel kind of good. Yes, thank you. And wanted to know if I was interested in trying to get in a program that is called the Workshop at Macy's, which is the oldest program for in retailing for entrepreneurs who have a product that they may be interested in, and hopefully, if all goes well, you can be a vendor or your things could be sold on Macy's.com. But it's sort of like a very quick and small incubator. So she asked for 12 different items from me. And let me tell you, a year ago or even 6 months ago, I wouldn't have been ready to send her 12 different items at a moment's notice. But because I took all these classes and kept learning, I had pitch decks, lookbooks, executive summaries, and business plans, everything that I just had to tweak before I sent her. Thank you, Melinda. And so I'm saying always be ready. That taught me, and COVID taught me, always be ready. when that phone call comes, are you ready? And always continue to get educated. I am happy and I'm grateful that they accepted me into the program, which starts at the end of April. But if I did not, but I also have to thank all the other programs and my mentors that kept me on my toes, and I kept learning, because when a phone call comes in and it is your time, are you ready? And if I didn't take those courses and learn a little bit more and continue to learn, and I have more courses to take, I would not have been able to send her what she asked for immediately and be in a program. So right now I am getting ready to give it my all, the workshop at Macy's, and really hoping for the best outcome I can get, which is to spread my message that we need to change the narrative of what's beautiful. And it doesn't matter what hair texture you have, it's beautiful. And I'm here to accentuate it. So thank you. That's my update for today.
All right. Thank you, Monifa. Yeah, that's awesome. And thanks for sharing your story. And I look forward to hearing a lot more from you. And so thank you for that. All right. Next slide. All right. Next week, presenter is a company called Sky Squad. And some of you know Chris Tomseth. He is the Chief Marketing Officer at Sky Squad, and that will be presenting, and they provide an assistant at the airport to get you from curbside to the plane door. And it's a fantastic company. And look forward to that, and look forward to seeing everyone join us next week. All right, next slide. All right, so, you know, as we've seen, and I say this all the time, which is entrepreneurship is journey. And during that journey, you'll face many challenges that you will need to overcome as a business owner and entrepreneur. And at 1 Million Cups, we come together as fellow entrepreneurs and as a community to help each other to overcome those challenges. So I hope that today's meeting was productive for you, and hope you can join us next week for more exciting presentation.
The other slide was out of order. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, so presenter schedule next week, a Sky Squad. We are looking for more presenters. We are a community. We're here to help small business owners get unstuck with their challenges that they have. And so we have lots of opening rest of April as well as May. So if you are a business owner, or if you know of a business that can benefit from 25 brains helping them support and helping them solve their business challenge, please have them apply online or reach out to any one of our organizers. All right, next slide. All right, so we'd like to go through some of the events that are happening in the community. There's a couple of events that are happening today, March 31st, and the Providence Great Falls Restaurant grand opening. We all want to support local businesses, so please check them out. And also today, 4 p.m., it's a Humbrecht's Law presents a local business spotlight and have a strategy coaching session. It's all about helping small businesses, and the link is there for you to check out. And April 3rd, it's a virtual lunch discussion with Marianne Williamson. So a lot of these are happening locally and helping. The objective is to really to help local businesses. Let me go ahead and open up to others. Anyone would like to share any events that you think would benefit the group? you can unmute and let us know any events that are happening in the area.
Jennifer from the Chamber. I added a couple of events to our site. One is from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on Thursday at noon. They have a great 1-hour talk as a part of their roadmap for rebuilding, and it's a roundtable discussion. So it's free. You can catch it on the Chamber's events calendar, and I will put that in the chat.
All right, great. Thank you, Jennifer.
I'll share, John. I am a speaker at the Northern Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce 3-day virtual marketing summit. It's April 20th through the 22nd. And I'm speaking on the first day on branding for your business. I'll put the link in the chat.
Great. Thanks, Reggie. All right. Anyone else would like to share an event? Okay. Next slide. All right, so this concludes our meeting today. We want to thank you again for joining. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. We also want to thank the Kauffman Foundation for supporting 1 Million Cups. And if you'd like to learn more about the entrepreneurship, you can go to kaufmanfoundation.org to learn more. And with that, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, John. Don't forget to save the chat, everyone. And we could stay online a little bit if you want to chat with any of us organizers or just talk and introduce yourselves. So you can take yourself off mute if you'd like.
If not, have a great day. The weather looks beautiful.
It's supposed to rain this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to rain, I heard, but
plants love it.
March rain brings cherry blossoms in April.
Except they're going to be gone tomorrow with the winds.
Oh, really?
I've got horrible news. I'm sorry. I should just keep quiet.
It's just liquids.
Melissa, great job. You didn't have to disappear. It was nice seeing you over there. Unmute yourself.
I think today was a day.
Hope this was helpful for you.
All of it. I am like blown away by the amount of advice that I was given. And some of them, you know, it has been thoughts that I've had, and some of them I am already on the path to doing. But there was a lot that I didn't even think about. And I'm so thankful to Donnell for getting me involved with this. And I was so nervous at first, but I'm so thankful for this and for all of you guys, you know, to provide me, you know, with this advice. And one day I'm gonna be like Manifa, and I'm gonna come on here and say, hey, here's an update. So I just thank you to everybody.
He was so sorry he couldn't be here for it. But
yes, but he's having fun. I've seen the pictures.
I know, exactly. He's on vacation. So let any of us know if you need help with anything or want, you know, some follow-ups with them. Anybody, the information should be in the chat. You'll be getting the chat and the video. Oh, I can end the video. Let me figure out how to do that real quick. There it is, Facebook Live in the corner, and I can just go.
Oh, we've been recorded online.